If you are craving cozy comfort food, start here. These are my favorite recipes for cold nights and for a hungry family. One of my favorite winter comfort foods is split pea soup. And now, as a child of the 80s and 90s, I grew up on the Campbell's soup variety, but those canned soup days are long gone, and I really love to make scratch-made soups. Whenever I see recipes for split pea soup, it usually calls for a ham hock, but I am using the ham bone from our Christmas ham. And I really prefer the ham bone over the ham hock because I like the texture and the flavor of the soup better. So here I just put the bone in my Dutch oven and I covered it with about 8 cups of water. You'll need about 6 cups total of ham bone broth, so you'll want to add a little bit extra because it will reduce as it simmers. That bone broth needs to simmer for about an hour and a half to 2 hours or so. So in the meantime, I am chopping up the vegetables for the soup and getting a few other recipes started. The thing about winter comfort food is that it is often slow. And I know there are shortcuts, there's instant pots and things like that that can speed up the process of cooking. But there's just something about that warm, slow cooking during these cold months that just hits the spot. So when I'm making these sorts of recipes, I like to stagger the process so I can get a few things done at one time. So the broth is simmering, the vegetables are cut, and they are in the fridge waiting for the next step of the soup. And now I am preparing a fresh milled Pullman sandwich bread. I have the sourdough version of this recipe over on my blog at moonandmagnolia.com, but I'm actually doing a lot of fresh milled recipes with commercial yeast right now, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. But I really love the whole grain and whole wheat flavor of bread this time of year. I mean, I like fresh milled bread all year long, but there's something about the heartiness of those fresh milled breads that taste really good and pair really nicely with other winter comfort foods. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm just mixing together the milled flour and all of the ingredients except the yeast and the salt. And then I'm letting that sit for, I'd say it was about 45 minutes to an hour. So that way the bran and the germ and that fresh milled flour can absorb the liquid. And then while that rests, I'm getting some sourdough pie crust prepared. And I know this kind of seems like a lot is happening at one time, and I am doing all of this at one time. But so far throughout the entire process of this, of course, it's cut down for the sake of the video, but in my real life, I've really only been doing things in the kitchen now for about 10 to 15 minutes. So if you stagger the process like this, you can really start to make these really delicious, slow, scratch-made foods without a lot of hands-on time and get a lot done at one time. One thing I should mention is that before I started any cooking, I took 2 sticks of butter and I threw them in the freezer because anytime you're making pie dough, the colder the butter, the better. So have them in the freezer for at least 30 minutes before you plan on making the pie dough. So just a quick backstory about why I'm even making pie dough. So after Thanksgiving, I went to the grocery store and got a bunch of turkeys on sale because they were steeply discounted. And then I roasted them and then sliced up the meat and put it in the freezer. Then after our Christmas trip, the night we came home, I took some of that turkey meat out and then I tried to make a skillet meal with it with some peas or maybe green beans, I can't remember, and some sweet potatoes. But I totally messed it up. I kind of lost track of time. I was really tired and the sweet potatoes overcooked and the turkey didn't really cook quite right in the skillet. So rather than eating it then, I just stuck it in the fridge and now I'm going to use it for pot pie filling. But what's important here is that you don't have to make everything from scratch that day to have delicious comfort food. You can use leftovers and get creative with what you have. So we'll get back to that pot pie in a little bit, but right now I am finishing up the bread dough. So here, rather than adding sourdough starter, I'm now adding in 2 1/4 teaspoons of dry active yeast and then about a teaspoon of salt, and then mixing everything in my stand mixer until it reaches the window pane test. So the process of making this bread is the same as making sourdough bread. The difference is it's really fast. That dry active yeast, the first rise only takes about an hour to an hour and a half, whereas with sourdough, it would have taken all day. There's really a time and a place for sourdough and for commercial yeast. It's really up to you, but for my needs on this day, using commercial yeast was a better option. And now it is time to finish up this split pea soup while the bread dough rises. So I am removing the ham bone and straining the broth. I'll be honest, you probably don't even need to strain the broth with the ham bone. It doesn't get that gritty texture that say like a chicken broth, turkey broth, or even a ham hock does when you simmer it. But if you want to strain it, you can. And then I'm just simply sauteing the vegetables that I chopped up up earlier, which is nice because that work was done in advance. Once they're tender crisp, I'm adding in some fresh chopped garlic, and once it's aromatic, which takes just about a minute or so, I'm adding in about a ladle full of that ham broth and using that to deglaze the pot. Be sure to scrape up as much of those brown bits as you can from the bottom and sides of the pot because that adds a lot of flavor. Then into the pot, I am adding 1 pound of rinsed and sorted split peas, 6 cups of ham bone broth, about a pound of chopped ham, which was leftover ham from our Christmas dinner, and then 2 bay leaves. And then this just simmers on the stove for about an hour and a half or so. Honestly, you can hardly overcook this. If you need a little more liquid, just add in some extra broth. You could use leftover ham broth if you have any, or even some chicken broth, and you can simmer this until your heart's content. While that's simmering though, I am finally wrapping up the last few steps of this bread. So it only took about an hour and a half for that bread to rise. And for fresh milled bread, I don't punch it down like you would with other types of commercial yeast breads. And that's because the bran and the germ in fresh milled flour are a little bit sharp. So if you deflate the bread, it's actually cutting the strands that create that nice rise, and it can make it a little harder to get a nice rise on the second round. So it does deflate a little bit, of course, when you're stretching it out, but I just don't punch it down. So instead, I just roll it up into a log, fold the ends over, and I stitch the seam to create some tension. That's just where you take pieces from opposite sides of the dough and pull them over. And then I put it in a Pullman pan and let it rise until it's about an inch away from the top. And that only took about 45 minutes or so. And then you just put the lid on, put it in an oven at 375 and bake for 50 to 55 minutes or until the internal temperature reaches 200 degrees Fahrenheit. And if we're talking about cozy winter comfort foods, I can't think of anything cozier than soup simmering on the stove and bread baking in the oven. This soup is really winter comfort food at its best. It is delicious. If you have leftovers, you'll probably need to add a little bit of broth just to thin it out a little bit because it does thicken as it cools, but it is really great for your winter meal prep menu. This bread is also absolutely delicious. One of the things I didn't mention before is that using commercial yeast creates a more mild flavor with fresh milled flour. One of the frustrations I hear a lot from people who make fresh milled sourdough is that it tastes too sour, and that's because the fermentation process with whole grains especially creates an intensified sour flavor. But by using commercial yeast, you don't get that really sour flavor. So if you're looking to cozy up your winter menu with some fresh milled whole grain bread, using commercial yeast might be a good option if you want to avoid that sourness of whole grain sourdough. Okay, back to the winter comfort food menu, and I am now making the turkey pot pie filling, and it's actually 2 days later. So I just really want to emphasize that you don't have to be in the kitchen all the time to make this food. I made the split pea soup and the bread one day, took a whole day off, we ate leftovers, and now I'm getting back at it the following day. You can get a more formal version of this recipe over on my blog at moonandmagnolia.com, but I'm just using what I have on this day. So I simply just sauteed some onions in butter, sprinkled them with flour, added some chicken broth until it thickened up, and now I'm using whatever I have that would work in a pot pie. I have a bag of frozen peas and carrots, and then I have my little turkey sweet potato mishap here. And normally I probably wouldn't put sweet potatoes in a pot pie, but it actually turned out really great, so I wouldn't say not to if that's what you have. And then once that's warm, I'm just adding in some milk. I seasoned it with some sage, thyme, just a pinch of nutmeg, and some celery seed. I found that my pot pies turn out better when I let the filling cool, because when it's really hot and you try to put it in that pie dough, it softens all the butter and it makes it kind of hard to shape the pie dough and then to vent it. So I have the pot pie filling set aside on the stove to cool while I make a homemade tomato soup and grilled cheese, and I will be using the fresh milled bread that I made earlier in the video for that grilled cheese. I've tried a lot of tomato soup recipes over the years, and my complaint is that they always taste like a pasta sauce. So when you're making a tomato soup from scratch like this, really think about soup ingredients. I used 2 whole onions chopped, 2 whole carrots chopped, about 4 cloves of garlic chopped, and then about a half a box of chicken broth. And then I used 4 pint jars of home canned crushed tomatoes. You could totally use store-bought. You would just need about 60 ounces of tomatoes for this portion or this size pot of tomato soup. And then I added in my favorite vegetable soup ingredients: a little bit of sugar, a little bit of red wine vinegar, thyme, salt, pepper, and bay leaves. And then I'm just letting that simmer on the stove for about an hour and a half or so, or really until I can get back to it. Kind of like that split pea soup, you can hardly overcook this, so just put it on low and let it cozy up your kitchen for a while you get some other stuff done. While the soup is simmering, I am finishing up the turkey pot pie. So the pie dough has been sitting in the fridge for a couple of days, and that's one of the things I really like about making pie dough is that you can make it days in advance and then use it for any sort of cozy comfort food that you want, whether it's a pot pie or a quiche or even a pie for dessert. And you can get that made in advance and then really simplify the process later when it comes time to make your pie. It always seems like the best comfort foods have a lot of steps and stages, making a broth to finish a soup or making a pie dough to create a pot pie. So anytime you can make those ingredients or just a part of the recipe in advance, it just makes the process a little bit easier. After assembling the pot pie, I brushed it with heavy cream and baked it in the oven at 425 degrees for about 35 to 40 minutes. And while that was baking, I am finishing up our lunch for the day, which is that tomato soup and grilled cheese. So I actually forgot to take the bay leaves out. It turned out fine because I blended it, but I do recommend taking the bay leaves out. And then I like to use an immersion blender for creamy soups. You could blend it in batches in a regular blender, but I just find that to be a pain. So I use an immersion blender and blended it until it was nice and creamy. And then I added in some heavy cream to taste. I would say I probably added about a cup of heavy cream. And here you can see that fresh milled sandwich bread turned out beautiful. It makes a really good toasted sandwich for something like a toasted ham and cheese or a grilled cheese. So I made just a simple grilled cheese sandwich, and then I served this with a bowl of homemade tomato soup for a really warm and cozy lunch. I have childhood memories of eating tomato soup and grilled cheese after playing in the snow when I was a kid. So grilled cheese and tomato soup brings back some really warm and comforting memories for me. And finally, that pot pie is out of the oven. I took it out at lunchtime, but we had this for dinner, so it was really nice to not have to cook in the evening. But you can see that crust is beautifully golden from that heavy cream wash, and this was delicious. Really, these meals are winter comfort food at its best and the recipes that carry us through the cold days of winter. Thanks so much for stopping by, and I'll see you again next time.